Tell the story, let it echo far and wide, and make them hear you.
Because I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
And yet, despite all of this, despite the bitterness of the past, despite the difficulties of the present, despite the uncertainty of the future, Dr. King held fast to his dream. King rose to that podium and said, clear-eyed and straight-backed, to the multitude that had gathered, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine.
We must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
It doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better think that today. I got so much money, the bees envy me. Oh yeah, when Jesus won. When Jesus won. When Jesus won. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.
And as we step forward into a new chapter in our history, we stand at the edge of another new frontier. We are called to become a nation that more closely resembles the promised land about which Dr. King so eloquently spoke.
Tonight, we present a world premiere of a civic anthem, Selma at 60, written by Nolan Williams Jr. It's performed by the NEWorks Voices of America and narrators Nicole Salter and Quincy Vicks.
Ago on March 7th, 1965, several hundred of us came together in Alabama to march from Selma to Montgomery.
We marched to secure voting rights for our people.
Some called us rabble-rousers, some called us troublemakers.
Our friend John Lewis would say we were good troublemakers.
Patriots, pushing our country to make good on its promise for liberty and justice for all. Our cause was just, and our march was...
Yet still, by the time we got to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, Alabama state troopers and racist folks from the Selma community attacked us.
They beat us with clubs.
They hit us with their fists.
Many of us were injured. Most were bloodied.
But we didn't stop.
No, we couldn't stop. days later, our numbers grew from a few hundred to 2,500. And this time, we were led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
We made it to the Pettis Bridge. Then we had to turn around.
Because the court order prevented us from going any further.
But we didn't stop because we knew fighting for our freedom meant playing a long game.
Good people, you know why we're here. We march for fairer housing.
We march for fairer housing.
For our children's education.
For our children's education.
We march to end poverty.
We march to end poverty.
And to stop discrimination.
And to stop discrimination.
12 days later, on March 21st, 1965, we marched again for a third time. Then, our numbers had grown to 25,000.
This time, as we crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge, 1,000 military police and 2,000 Army troops were there not to beat us, but to protect us.
It took us 4 days to make our way to Montgomery.
And as we arrived, we marched right up to the Alabama State Capitol building.
And delivered a petition to that racist Governor George Wallace, because we needed him to know.
There is a moral compass joining freedom's waxing way. At times we start all now some things hard to explain. Sometimes we rise, sometimes we cannot go. It's long and there's towards justice when we agitate.
To rebuild industries.
We march to rebuild industries.
From Rocky Mount to Appalachia.
From Rocky Mount to Appalachia.
We march on ballot boxes.
We march on ballot boxes.
Against the tyrants of this nation.
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 1 week later, we were shocked when President Lyndon B. Johnson pressed Congress to pass a Voting Rights Act. It reminded us of what can grow from a few hundred people coming together on a mission.
I'll never forget the date. Tuesday, August 6, 1965. That's when Johnson signed that voting rights bill into law.
Now, all of the states that had a history of voter discrimination, they had to get government approval to make any changes to their voting procedures.
No more bullying or intimidation.
No more literacy tests or poll taxes.
Now, our people were free to register and vote as they will.
And I wish to God we can say they lived happily ever after.
But that only happens in a fairy tale where there is no voter suppression, no gerrymandering of districts, and no Supreme Court verdict that gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013.
So, the fight continues.
Hey. When I say Selma, you say Montgomery. Selma.
Montgomery.
Selma.
Montgomery.
When I say fight for, you say democracy. Fight for.
Democracy.
Fight for.
Democracy.
When I say freedom, you say let it ring. Freedom.
Let it ring.
Freedom.
Let it ring.
When I say freedom, you say let it ring. Freedom.
Let it ring.
Freedom.
Let it ring.
Selma has taught us to persist, resist. Selma has taught us to protest, endure. Selma has taught us to fight hate, agitate.
exemplifies today, y'all.
Lessons from Selma.
March on.
Woo!
Please welcome star of stage and screen, Taye Diggs.
Good evening, good evening. On behalf of the Kennedy Center and Georgetown University, welcome. And before I go any further, let's thank the artists from this evening's performance, NEWorks Voices of America, under the direction of this evening's music producer, Nolan Williams Jr. Woo. Had me tearing up there a little bit. That opening number, titled Selma at 60, was a special commission composed by Mr. Williams. He will speak specifically about that piece a little later this evening. It is such an honor to be with you here all tonight to celebrate the legacy of one of the greatest men in our nation's history, Martin Luther King Jr. His name is synonymous with courage, strength, excellence, and heroism. In the face of unimaginable injustice, he dared us to have a dream that changed the course of this nation and the world for the better. Tonight, we celebrate Dr. King's legacy and the achievements of those who strive to continue that dream. To lead us in an invocation, please join me in welcoming Reverend Ebony Grissom, Director of Protestant Life at Georgetown University.
Will you pray with me? To the God of many names, who knows each of us by our own, we give you thanks for this evening and for everyone whose labor made it possible. We give you thanks for another occasion to remember the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coach John Thompson Jr. We give thanks for their lives and legacies, their steadfast commitment to their communities, their willingness to speak truth with power, their strength to stand by the courage of their convictions, their relentless pursuit of what we Hoyas call a faith that does justice. Some of us were not there to see it for ourselves, and yet we all remember. And so we celebrate at the Kennedy Center, no less, because we fancy. We celebrate our awardee, Ms. Paula C. Thompson, whose work demonstrates the power of a second chance. We give thanks for every speaker and every performer and ask that you anoint them anew. May their gifts reflect your glory. May they not only entertain us, but enjoin us to clap our hands, to do our dance, and to work for justice. And when this evening ends, may our celebration continue. May we carry these legacies in our hearts into every ward in DC, all points of the DMV, and every bend of the live stream, overflowing with gratitude, buoyed by your power, united in spirit, and ever ready to pursue justice until freedom rings. Amen.
For more than 2 decades, this concert has taken place here at the Kennedy Center, and how fitting a venue, the living memorial to President Kennedy. He and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. knew that despite the injustices thrust upon Black Americans, their extraordinary talents, intelligence, and aptitude were undeniable. And so, tonight, to celebrate Dr. King's legacy and commitment to equality, we will bear witness to extraordinary talent. And speaking of extraordinary talent, this next artist brings that and more. Please welcome Tony-nominated, Grammy and Emmy award-winning star of Hamilton and HBO's And Just Like That, the incomparable Christopher Jackson, my man.
Good evening. It is a great honor to be back in these hallowed halls with you in a new year, celebrating an amazing moment in our collective history. Joining me tonight to perform this first song, my co-writer and my collaborator, my brother, Mr. Felton Offord. By the time the water came and knocked me down, I could swim. And I held my head up just long enough to get to ground. And then I saw pieces of my past floating by, and I couldn't save them. I couldn't even try, because I know that love can't turn back the time. Sometimes just the thought of losing everything can be and learning from mistakes can't be the only way. You should. When it was raining everywhere, oh, it was raining all the time. Yeah. And wasn't no shelter to keep us safe and dry. When it takes more than love, love can't turn back the time. But what if I hold on? 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 Remember the moment that the waters fell away. And in spite of everything that I had lost, the bottom of my heart there was grace. I was grateful for the times defined by what I couldn't see. Hey. Like the hand that always held on to mine, the life that was unconditionally defined, prayer that was answered with love rolled back the tide. Ooh, ooh. Thank you. Has anybody seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but they say the good die young. One day I looked around and then he was gone. Has anybody seen my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? I know he freed a lot of people. The good, they die young. 'Cause I looked around one day and he was gone. Didn't you love the things that they stood for? Didn't they try to fight for good for you and me? And someday we'll be free. One day. Tell me, have you seen my good friend John? Can you tell me where he's gone? Well, he freed a lot of people. The good, they died too young, and I looked around one day and he was gone. Can you tell me where he's gone? As I look yonder over that hill, I see him walking with Abraham. Oh yes, and I seen him walking with Martin. and his brother John.
Please welcome Kennedy Center's Vice President and Artistic Director of Social Impact, Mark Bamuthi Joseph.
Peace, everybody. You know, y'all have been very cordial, I have to say, and that is not in the radical spirit of the man that we are here to celebrate. So I'd appreciate it if y'all acted like y'all knew. How we doing? Thank you. My name is Bamuthi. I am Anne-Marie Deltour's grandson. I am Makai Rising's father. My people come from the unceded territory of the Taino, which is presently known as Haiti. See, by virtue, thank you, by virtue of my body, my citizenship, and my relationship to institutional power, I identify as both privileged and hunted. I understand the co-responsibility of resource and integrity. Behind me, I feel the close footsteps of both my ancestors to whom I owe a debt and their slave catchers who would have me dead. These plural, complex, multivalent, and indelible histories have led me here to speak to you today at this auspicious American moment. This weekend in Washington, D.C., there's a lot of talk about American greatness. And there should be. Who better to crystallize what makes America great than Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., born in Atlanta, Morehouse man, Nobel Peace, SCLC, more than the pithy sum of a speech, the son of his country, son bled in the streets for the right to civil liberty. Dr. King was a patriot, guided by an abiding faith in America. He believed civilization and violence are antithetical concepts. He believed nonviolence is not sterile passivity, it is a moral force. Greatness requires morality. I greet you. I greet you today on behalf of my extraordinary colleagues from my chair as the Vice President of Social Impact of the Kennedy Center. The Kennedy Center is, of course, a place that prioritizes the world's greatest art. And Social Impact is the department that focuses both on the primacy of the grace and beauty inherent in art and also the notion of the artist's heart as a civic value. My team in Social Impact inclines our institution toward dignity for all. We believe that inspiration itself is fundamentally tied to the health of our democracy. The history of art in our country isn't just a litany of aesthetic traditions and practitioners, it's a historical review of empathy and the citizens among us who sought to codify empathy in beautiful and digestible forms. American greatness requires an artist's heart. Dr. King, the artist, was a craftsman who used the social contract as fabric to dream America in all its creative color. He was a man of the movement to choreograph social justice. I greet you today on behalf of this proud institution and also as a child of immigrants. My grandparents fled a dictatorship to come here. My grandmother was a teacher. She asked, what is the responsibility of the librarians before the libraries are burned down? If the memory of our overcoming is erased, how do we remember what is possible through struggle? In Social Impact, through nearly 24 different programs, we ask, how do we as artists, as educators, maximize the conditions for the combatants of apathy to thrive, to create an environment that renders apathy infertile? Greatness requires the vanquishing of apathy. This country uses alloys to manufacture cars. We use brick to construct houses. Can we use art to manufacture empathy as an intentional aspect of our economy? Put another way, if you were trading American stocks and you had equity stakes in empathy, who would you invest in first? Morality, an artist's heart, the vanquishing of apathy, and investment. This American weekend, we honor the greatness of a man who possessed all these characteristics, and through his living example, encouraged us all to reach for the same. At the Kennedy Center, we proudly launched a $15 million social impact endowment fund last year, enshrining into the covenant of this cultural institution a dogged pursuit of inspiration for all. We are honored to host tonight's event in partnership with Georgetown University and in deference to Dr. King, who articulated the American premise and deftly, greatly embodied the American promise. We let freedom ring in this town. May we all sustain it like a grace note. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here this evening. And please welcome back to the stage the great Taye Diggs.
Thank you, Mark. That was beautiful. Nolan Williams Jr, composer, music director, and founding CEO of NEWorks Productions, has dedicated his life to creating works that illuminate civil rights and social justice issues. Please join me in welcoming him and thanking him for 20 years as music curator and creator for this event.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, y'all didn't hear Mark a few minutes ago, but moved to... Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Taye for that introduction. I want to offer special thanks to the leadership teams at Georgetown University and the Kennedy Center. I would be remiss if I did not, in this moment, call out the name of Jack DeGioia. As Taye shared, this is my 20th year leading this annual MLK celebration as music producer. Can y'all believe it's been 20 years? And for most of those years, Georgetown has commissioned me to compose a work that captures King's legacy while speaking to our times. For those of you who were here last year, you remember I premiered a civic anthem titled Rise Up and Fight. And following that premiere, I'm really proud to share that we released that song as an animated short film. And that short film was the centerpiece of a wider civic engagement that I launched through my company, NEWorks Productions, called Freedom Advances. And as of today, that project has now won over 50 honors from film, music, media festivals across the nation and around the world. And we opened the program with this year's commission work, Selma at 60. Did you all like that? The song commemorates the 60th anniversary of the iconic Civil Rights March, and really it was 3 marches, I hope you got that, from Selma to Montgomery. 2 were unsuccessful. It's my hope that the message of that piece resonates with all of you, and so just let these words wash over you in case you missed the lyrics. There is an arc, a moral compass, charting freedom's wax and wane. At times, we're startled how that arc allows some things hard to explain. But when the cause we fight is right, no matter what, we must persist, because that arc is long and bends towards justice when we stand our ground and resist. Some of you will readily recognize that these lyrics are inspired by the speech Dr. King delivered in Montgomery at the conclusion of that 4-day march. King's words then and now remind us that the path towards liberty and justice for all is not a straight course. It is a complicated journey that causes the moral arc of our universe to swing like a pendulum from the far right to the far left and back. But in the words of the great civil rights activist Ella Baker, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. We got to stay the course, y'all. We can't lose faith. We must fight and resist. We must march and agitate with the full confidence that in the end of the day, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, the moral arc of our universe will bend towards what is just, what is true, and what is right if we keep our hands to the plow. So in that spirit, I'm delighted to introduce our next performance. It features my dear sister, violinist extraordinaire, Chelsey Green. I love it. Chelsey has fans in the house. Along with our NEWorks Voices of America and house band. Can we give it up for them? It also features the incredible rapper Lew Sid, he's a rising star in the hip-hop industry, and we're really proud to feature Lew Sid. We launched, as a part of our Freedom Advances campaign, a national Rise Up Song Challenge. We encouraged young creatives to take 2 of my civic anthems and manipulate them to create messaging that would encourage voters or potential voters in their age group to be engaged this last election cycle. And Lew Sid won that nationwide competition. So he is with us today. He's with us today all the way from Los Angeles. We're proud to feature him on this stage for this program. You all make Chelsey and Lew Sid feel really welcome as we perform Marvin Gaye's classic song, What's Going On? moving a mile a minute. What's been going on is getting to me, and I'll admit it. Seem like there's a mission and a motive to talk the wicked. Know the young mind is pliable and they trying to trick it. I look where we at and wonder how did we come to it. Know the work I'm artists did, so wanna undo it. Legendary words, break them down and misconstrue it. Troubled times come, but all my ancestors hung through it. I will too. I think I'm Martin, then I feel cool. Cause Mr. King would know a thing about how I feel too. What's going on is nothing strange. I know it made you seem deranged. I had this country on a high hill too. I still believe that's where we belong. Storm we can weather, just gotta be strong. Same merits Martin used to speak on. The martyr is resting, but know the heart of his message is still beat on. God bless the soil that my feet on. What's going on shouldn't surprise you. It should inspire you as an obstacle we can rise through. Every day we all get a chance to make a mark on this world. Our precious lady America, let's be smart with our girl. Let's not dress her up perfectly, mess her up internally. The goal, some have forgotten, her soul is concerning me. Messes as a whole burning me to like the 3rd degree. But I'm in surgery, I return and continue moving purposefully. Can't break us, it gotta make us that much stronger. The never ending battle, we fighting that much longer. You think it's no hope, then you couldn't be much wronger. Weak mind sitting watching surprises that tough conquer. What's going on propelled us, they didn't fail us. We march on like Martin and Selma, what could you tell us? Stood on principles and they tried to expel us. Stuck with Martin's dream, so there's no dream you can sell us. What's going on is troubling, but I won't stop. My shoulders back, my chest out, and no, my head don't drop. Let's get back to building together, we don't have to be ops. The only path when you get down is heading back to the top. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Yeah.
Please welcome Georgetown University Interim President Robert M. Groves.
Good evening. Thank you all for joining us at our annual Let Freedom Ring concert in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is a joy to see our community come together in this way to recognize the importance of this day. Let me also recognize our colleagues at the Kennedy Center, Taye Diggs, our host this evening, our partner, Nolan Williams Jr., and all of the performers who will share their talent and have shared their talent with us tonight. This is indeed a very special night. We are here to reflect on the life and legacy of Dr. King and to present the John R. Thompson Jr. Legacy of a Dream Award to a truly outstanding leader in our city. The Let Freedom Ring concert and this award connect the struggles of Dr. King's time to the work we're engaged in today to build a more just and fair society. 7 decades ago, In 1955, we saw the beginning of the Montgomery bus boycott and the rise of the modern civil rights movement under the leadership of Dr. King and his colleagues. A decade later, as we heard earlier in our program so well, civil rights leaders marched from Selma to Montgomery as the movement for equality gained national attention and prominence. In 1972, we experienced a pivotal moment at Georgetown when John R. Thompson Jr. was hired as the head men's basketball coach and began at that time nearly 50 years as a leader in our community. And as we look to our current moment, we recognize the contributions of a leader in our city, Paula Thompson. Paula Thompson and her work at Voices for a Second Chance. We honor each of them and what they represent. An unwavering belief in the promise of our nation. We celebrate these leaders now to remind ourselves of the hard-fought victories and also to recognize the work that remains to bolster the rights and freedoms of people across our country and around the world. Dr. King provided us with a model of leadership, a commitment to equality, and a vision for change that has endured across these generations. We take inspiration from his life and his legacy. Coach Thompson, with courage and conviction, opened doors at Georgetown in Washington, D.C., and stood on the national stage as a leader for equity and justice. Paula Thompson strengthens the fabric of our communities by welcoming people home and providing critical reentry services to returning citizens and their families. Tonight, Paula joins more than 20 past honorees of this award. Each one has kept alive the spirit of Dr. King and the commitment of Coach Thompson. I thank you all for spending this evening with us today. I hope our program enlivens you with a spirit of hope about this community, this city, this nation, and our shared future. In a moment, we will present Paula Thompson with this year's John Thompson Jr. Legacy of a Dream Award. But first, let's turn to a film sharing the life of Coach Thompson and the contributions of this year's awardee and her organization.
Born in Washington, D.C., John Thompson Jr. grew up loving sports and realized early on that athletics could be a gateway to a larger opportunity.
My first love was not basketball. My first love in sports were boxing and baseball. I was getting taller and taller, and the older guys, they said, put down that baseball. If you want an opportunity to go to school, you better get yourself on a basketball court.
Thompson led his high school to multiple championships and earned a scholarship to Providence College.
I ended up playing football since Celtics, and you saw a lot of things that you hadn't seen before. You were exposed to a lot of things, which created an interest in education to me. I wanted to be educated so that I could help.
John Thompson was hired in 1972 as the men's basketball coach at Georgetown, where he became the first African-American college basketball coach to win the NCAA Men's Division I basketball championship in 1984.
My coaching was the instrument I used to teach with. I thought, really, that you had freedom in coaching.
Coach also led his team to success off the court with a 97% graduation rate, and he kept the deflated basketball on his desk to to remind players that the game wouldn't last forever. He used his position to advocate for the causes important to him. In 1989, the NCAA put forward Proposition 42 with implications for athletic eligibility that would disproportionately harm students from disadvantaged backgrounds.
Because of the success we were having as a basketball coach, and me being an African American, I had an obligation to say something about it, so I did.
Coach Thompson became one of the most visible opponents and walked off the court in protest, boycotting 2 games. He helped bring the issue to national attention and eventually led the NCAA to modify the proposition. John Thompson has left a lasting legacy on Georgetown University and the city of Washington, D.C., not only on the game of basketball, but in the ongoing fight for equality and justice.
The 2025 Legacy of a Dream Award is presented to Paula Thompson, President and CEO of Voices for a Second Chance, a nonprofit that bridges the gap from incarceration to the community for incarcerated and newly released individuals in Washington, D.C.
With a safety net, sometimes you have to throw it wide, and so we're a safety net for individuals and their families who have experienced incarceration. We catch them where they are, and then we just work with them to help them get their feet landed on the ground. I wanted to be in a space where I could work with individuals to help them see themselves beyond their circumstances. So we want to be the bridge from the client, we want to be a bridge to the family, we want to be a bridge to the community. And so that's how I approach the work and the development of Voices for a Second Chance.
When I got released, I didn't expect to be coming to an actual community, a warm community. It was more about me feeling welcome. That's why this place is so important. She stood beside me when I felt nobody was standing beside me. So that's why to this day, when she called on me, I'm there.
I got direction from this organization. This organization let me understand that, 1, I gotta be in for the long haul. 2, I gotta be patient with the process. And 3, I'm not alone. You're not selling me a pipe dream. You're telling me exactly what it is, and you get me to understand how this will help me become stable.
VSC offers case management services from the time someone leaves the jail or the prison and into halfway houses to help with preparing people upon their release. And that's important because in DC, it's very difficult for an individual to navigate the road ahead of them, to understand the changes that have occurred in the city, especially if they've been incarcerated for long periods of time.
Paula's fantastic because she focuses on the people, not just the problem. She is so committed to the work. So I think that I've seen her grow in it just by becoming more committed and passionate about seeing their humanity, right? Giving them back their humanity.
She continually looks at where does the organization need to go now? What kinds of things do we need to add to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our clients? Without programs like this, they become too easily a part of the criminal element in the city again, because there's no other way for them to, in many cases, take care of themselves, take care of their families.
I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. My dad was very active in community activism. I grew up with that, so that's all I knew. As I've gotten older, I see how their examples have really shaped my life and the choices that I make and the work that I do. And so I'm very proud of that.
Paula just, immediately, just with her positive vision, energy, passion for the work of our clients and this community. There's not a lot of empathy or compassion for folks in that situation. Highlighting that, giving those folks resources is why VSC is so important.
If you speak to many clients who have come through the doors of VSC, they will tell you how they have direct access to Paula. I remember when COVID happened, she was out in the community with a mask on, giving out COVID packages so that people could have toothpaste and toothbrushes. And when people were isolating and going away and not wanting to deal with certain vulnerable communities,
Paula went into the community and met people where they were in the heart of COVID. And that's the kind of leader that she is. She was doing that before, and she's done it since.
But Voice for a Second Chance is like family to me. It's really a family mechanism. I know when you tell me something, but I know what help look like. So for me, in my heart, this is my family.
How do we make people whole? How do we help them to be whole? And whatever that means for them, not our definition of that.
It's a privilege and an honor, and I look at it as an opportunity to elevate the work even more, even if I'm the vehicle in VSC elevating the work. Truly, truly honored. I think a partnership with Georgetown, working closely to create ways for us to do that and be a symbol and a model for that. I think this is an opportunity, and now we can do it.
Family members of John Thompson, Morgan, John, and Matthew, in recognizing our wonderful 2025 John Thompson Jr. Legacy of a Dream Award recipient, Paula C. Thompson, President and CEO of Voices.
Today and every day, we should remind ourselves of the power and importance of preserving the teachings of Dr. King. His work has made our nation stronger and exponentially better. And by honoring him tonight, we further add to the strength of his legacy and pledge to carry on his work. My hope is that Dr. King's dream lives in each and every one of us on a daily basis, both in action and in spirit. This next artist does just that. Please welcome to the stage 5-time Grammy Award-winning artist, the extraordinary Esperanza Spalding.
I never got to meet my paternal grandmother, but thanks to her vision for a better life for her family from Arkansas, Fordyce, Arkansas, she ferried her family up to the Pacific Northwest in the first wave of Black workers who were relocating from the South to the North, the Northwest. And thanks to her, I'm standing here today. Yes. And this was her, she used to sing in church, and this was her favorite song.
When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high. And don't be afraid of the dark, for at the end of the the storm as a golden rain and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the storm, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you never walk alone. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you never walk
Now, I really expect everybody who knows this song to sing on the parts you know, okay? But not all the parts, because...
Hang on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let that spin get you down. Things are moving fast, but hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Keep yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind your fear. Brighter days will soon be here. Oh, take it from me. Someday we'll all be free. Someday. Keep on walking tall, hold your head up high. Build your dreams, build them up, right up to the sky. Sing your bravest song, and we'll keep growing strong. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Oh, take it from me, someday we'll all
just played that solo? That was so beautiful. Yes. That was so beautiful. Kenny Rittenhouse, thank you. It's community up here, y'all. Right? Otherwise, what's the point? And that means having fun. Finding out new things in the real time on the stage. Okay, but yes, just like we rehearsed it.
What a lovely, precious dream to be young, gifted, and blind. Open your heart to what I mean. In the whole world, you know, there's a million boys and girls who are young. That's a fact. And that's a fact. You are young, gifted, and black. We must begin to tell our young. There's a world waiting for you. Yours is the quest that's just begun. When you're feeling low, there's a great truth that you should know. When you're young, gifted, and blind, your soul's intact. Your soul's intact. You know that.
I don't know what that was. I've never seen that before in my life. What just happened? Wow. And I've seen some things, y'all. Wow, okay. It has been an immense pleasure to honor the inspirational legacy of Dr. King with all of you. And I hope this concert is a reminder that the dream Dr. King shared with the world more than 6 decades ago is meant to be active and alive among us. It needs our hope, yes. It needs our hope, our work, and our commitment if it is to become fully realized. As Dr. King repeated in his iconic speech, now is the time. On behalf of Georgetown University and the Kennedy Center, thank you for joining us tonight. I'd like to acknowledge the incredible performances that we all enjoyed. And finally, let's extend a robust thank you to the singers, musicians, members of the chorus, and Nolan Williams Jr. for such uplifting music. I'd also like to take a moment and thank both Georgetown University and the Kennedy Center for ensuring that this concert happens each and every year. Yes. I couldn't be prouder to be part of tonight's concert, and I thank you for joining me this evening. Yes, thank you. And now, to close out this evening's concert, please welcome back all of our artists this evening performing another work by our music producer, Nolan Williams Jr., Birmingham Letter.
April 16th, 1963. My dear fellow clergymen, I am in Birmingham because injustice is here. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
See that man who is homeless, though destitute, he is no less, hoping for a fair chance to get on his feet. What he needs, a single mother is striving to raise her kids while surviving. Unequal pay and unfairness, how could this be? So we see
injustice anywhere, and it's justice everywhere,
everywhere, yeah, yeah.
Injustice anywhere, and something's action everywhere,
hand in hand. We understand, yeah. We're bound by love.
Human rights.
We fight for human rights till we see the light.
Children living in poverty, deprived of chances or knowledge. Who will teach them the tools they need to succeed?
Let them succeed.
And seniors living on pensions, still struggling not to mention Prescription drugs cost them more than the funds they receive. So we see
Justice anywhere. Bread and justice.
Justice
everywhere. Injustice anywhere. Summons action everywhere. And we understand we fight for human rights. Everybody sees the light.
Yeah, any injustice in small cities should turn tummies and touch us in all cities. Standing on my own cause I gotta get all with me. Standing by my side and we gon' go take a ball with me. For all walks of life, I heard that you walking light. And standing with me, we gon' make it talk and we get it right. Martin Luther King stood for us, I'm standing too. You wanna get freedom in the land, I demand it too. For all walks, and standing, I'm standing with me. Trying to get my hands up, I know that you have it with me. Pray for all my struggles cause they made me a better story. And if I die along the way, I pray that you tell it for me forevermore. Forevermore.
need all of you. Learn this. Come on. Seize the light. Seize the light. Huh.
Till everybody
Now listen, we want you to leave here encouraged, huh? I said we want you to leave here encouraged. How many of you know the battle is not over? Huh? We gotta keep marching until everybody, I said we gotta keep marching until everybody sees the light. We gotta keep protesting till everybody, huh? Sees the light. We gotta keep resisting till everybody, huh? Sees the light. We gotta keep persisting till everybody sees the light. I wonder how many of you are encouraged? Encouraged, huh? Sees the light. Huh? How many of you are encouraged tonight? Sees the light. Till everybody say, till everybody sees the light. Come on.
Too weak now, there's someone behind you. Don't be afraid, and please let me remind you. Every time the sun is shining up above, you got another chance to fill your heart with love. Won't you everybody sees the light? Till everybody sees the light.
Y'all like that? Listen, give it up for the NEWorks House Band. Under the musical direction of Daryl Hunt. For our NEWorks Voices of America. For our dancers, Sheldon, Ryan, and Christina. For our narrators, Nicole and Quincy. For Lew Sid the rapper. For Chelsey Green. I told you all she bought her fan club today. And then, I mean, which way do I go first? I'm gonna go to my lovely sister, Esperanza Spalding. And then I'm gonna go to my brother, Christopher Jackson. Love you, bro. and our host, Taye Diggs. Thank you, Taye. You all like that? I think we need a little bit more of that. What you all think?